development partners, representatives, Executive Secretary, Central Corridor, Transit Transport Facilitation Agency, Chief Executive Officers, representatives of private sector, NGOs, civil societies, heads of departments, units in the transport sector, distinguished delegates, media houses, moderator, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister and guest of honor, let me take this opportunity to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule so as to grace the opening of the 15th Joint Transport Sector Review meeting. Honorable Minister, you are most welcome. I also welcome all the participants to this important annual sector review meeting. Your attendance is indeed a testimony of the importance you accord to the development of the transport sector. I thank you so much. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting has been organized by the Ministry of Works and Transport in collaboration with the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government. We also appreciate the collaboration we had from the development partners and the private sector. Honorable Minister, our gratitude is also extended to the African Development Bank for taking an active role as a leader of development partners in the transport sector. Guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, this year's sector review has been sponsored by the following. The first sponsor is Central Corridor Transit Transport Facilitation Agency, and I will ask all of us to put our hands together for their sponsorship. The second sponsor is Tanzania Ports Authority. We also thank them for their support. Third one is Tanzania Shipping Agencies Corporation, TASAC. And the last one is Tanzania Civil. Guests, ladies and gentlemen, as you have noted since last year, annual joint sector review are conducted concurrently with exhibitions. The exhibition is meant to create awareness to the public on the transport sector and meteorological services. We believe that this approach will add value to the annual sector review meetings. May I commend all the institutions that have taken part in this year's exhibition. I also urge those who were not able to participate this time to do the needful in the subsequent meetings. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, during today's meeting, several presentations are going to be made. The presentations will include the sector policies and strategic issues for the financial year 2021-2022, and the performance review for roads, rail, air, maritime transport, and meteorological services for the financial year 2021-2022. My plea to the presenters is to use the opportunity given to highlight the key issues and challenges from their areas. The question that we need all of us to ask ourselves is what we need to be done on road, rail, air, or water for the transport sector to work as a system. What needs to be done to ensure that the transport modes complement each other rather than compete. That is very important. Transport sector modes should complement each other rather than compete. Honorable Minister, this dialogue is very important, for it has been able to come up with various programs. We have an example of Dar es Salaam Maritime Gateway. It started from discussion from these meetings. We have Tanzania Railway Improvement Programs. We also had Transport Sector Investment Program, where we had several projects that were being identified and were implemented. We also organized joint joint technical committees meetings, where we meet development partners, government, and the private sector. Honorable Minister, without further ado, let me conclude my remarks by thanking you once again for your attendance, and I wish you a fruitful deliberation. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Migire, for the welcoming remarks. Before we have a little bit of a change in the program, and before we have the opening speech by the minister, we shall first listen to other institutions who are collaborating in the move to enhance the transport sector performance. I will now invite Engineer John Ngowi from Ministry of Works and Transport, but the Works subsector, to give us the statement. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Professor WAZIRI Mbarawa, Minister for Works, Madame Patricia Lively, Country Manager for ADB in Tanzania, members of the diplomatic corps, representative from international institutions, Permanent Secretary, Chief Executives, representatives from NGOs, civil services and private sector, distinguished guests, facilitators, media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak in this special occasion, in this meeting dedicated to reviewing performance of transport sector for the past 1 year. I wish to thank my colleagues, the Permanent Secretary. I'm reading this on behalf of the Permanent Secretary Works. So I wish to thank my colleague, Mr. Gabriel Migire, the Permanent Secretary for Transport, for his outstanding leadership in convening this meeting. I also wish to convey my appreciation to the organizing committee of this meeting for their commitment and tireless dedication, which made this meeting a success. Our thanks also go to the development partners, as the Permanent Secretary has pointed out, for their continued commitment and to development of transport sector. To all delegates who are here with us today, we appreciate for your participation, which bears testimony to recognition of the fundamental role of transport sector in the country. Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, let me now take this opportunity to give an overview of implementation of performance of the construction sector, particularly on roads and airport construction. Details of performance will be given by Tandros, so I will just pass through quickly, but in their presentation they will give more details. Population growth influence transport infrastructure demand. Mainland Tanzania population has been growing at an estimated rate of 2.75% for the past 2 decades. It has grown from 44.9 million in 2012. Now in 2022, the figure is 61.7 million. Projections shows that Dar es Salaam alone will have more than 15 million people by 2040. And therefore, there is a need to ensure transport demand is met with adequate, efficient, and reliable transport infrastructure. Honorable Minister, the distinguished participants, in the past 3 years, the ministry implemented and completed a number of trunk road and regional roads, trunk road, regional roads, airport, and bridge projects, while others are at different stages of implementation. Completed projects include upgrading of 1,141 kilometers of trunk roads, which were constructed to bitumen standard, construction of 4 major bridges, construction and rehabilitation of 4 airports. On the other side, for regional roads, 867 kilometers were upgraded to gravel standard or rehabilitated gravel standard, and 109 kilometers of regional roads were constructed to bitumen standard. Therefore, the implementation of maintenance for both trunk and regional roads were carried out satisfactorily. For the past 3 years, the overall performance for the maintenance program ranged to 88% in 2019-20, and 87% in the financial year 2021-22. And the overall condition of the road improved from 88% in June 21 to 90% in June 2022. Regarding axle load control, overloading has decreased from 27% in financial year 2021 to 26% in financial year 2021-22. This reduction is due to enhancement of vehicle axle load control using a total of 88 weigh bridges all over the country, both permanent and mobile, and also installation of CCTV camera in weigh bridge management system on the 13 weigh bridges. Honorable Minister and distinguished guests, in the past years, the government had in road infrastructure have significantly improved transport and travel within the country and across borders. Recently, completed road that aim at decongesting Dar es Salaam, interchanges, flyovers, bus rapid transport of construction of Kimara Kibaha to 8 lanes, and the construction of Kigamboni and Tanzanite bridges have made a big difference in time used in road and allowed the multimodal transport system to work more efficiently. The government has also embarked on major strategic infrastructure investment, including construction of Kigongo Busisi bridge, which is 3.2 kilometers. Will be the longest bridge in East Africa and the 6th longest in Africa. And the construction of a new Wami bridge, which has recently been completed to serve the North Corridor. Another strategic projects are designed to cater for infrastructural needs on the new capital, Dodoma, which include construction of Salato International Airport, construction of Dodoma Outer City Road, dual carriageway, which is about 112 kilometers, and ADB financing. Constructed 6.3 of Dodoma City Inner Ring Roads under JICA funding. This is under preparation. And widening of road sections from Dodoma City towards Iringa, Singida, Arusha, and Morogoro. Major bridges project which were completed include Sarenda Bridge, which is Tanzanite, connecting Ocean Road and Kenyatta Avenue in Dar es Salaam through Indian Ocean. Also construction of Ruhuhu Bridge in Kitai Letuhi across the Ruvuma River. Completion of Magara Bridge in Manyara region, connecting Babati to Mbulu district. Across Magara escarpment. Mara Bridge in Mara region, and Wami, which I have already mentioned, along Chalinze-Segera Road. Regarding airports, projects which have been undertaken during the year under review at different stages and which are different stages of implementation include construction of Geita Regional Airport, Phase 1, rehabilitation of Mtwara and Iringa Airport, construction of the Salato International Airport, Phase 1, Package 1, which is upgrading of and the rehabilitation of Tanga and Lake Manyara airports, rehabilitation of Shinyanga, Sumbawanga airports, and the rehabilitation and the extension of passenger terminal buildings, Terminal 2 at the Julius Nyerere International in Dar es Salaam. Other projects are construction of new passenger terminal building at the Tabora and Kigoma airports, completion of 2 projects which significantly contributed to the improvement of tourism or horticulture, as well as business and trade sectors, among others. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, and participants. Construction sector was not spared by efforts of COVID-19. Effects of COVID-19. This was due to international travel restriction put in place which hindered movement of some professionals, consultants and contractors, and thus delaying implementation of some projects. This partly contributed to the drop of sector growth from 14.1% in 2020 to 13.8% in 2021. After the restrictions were lifted, the government has made considerable effort to cover for the lost time by ensuring prompt payment to all raised certificates, which encourage contractors now to work faster. In the financial year 2023, for example, the government has budgeted 1.3 trillion for roads and airport development projects. of which priority has been in clearance of existing areas and completion of ongoing projects. The government is committed to ensuring timely payment to the contractors and consultants which are implementing the infrastructure projects in the country. Honorable Minister, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to emphasize that this meeting is very important and our dialogue here today will serve as a platform for exchanging experience, sharing lessons learned, and making a recommendation for development of transport sector. Working together can make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Ngowi, for the statement and informing us what's happening within the works sector of the Ministry of Works and Transport. I will now invite a representative from the African Development Bank, which the bank is now the lead of the development partners, to give a statement on behalf of the development partners. Madam Patricia, please, you're welcome.
On behalf of the development partners and on behalf of the President of the African Development Bank, let me take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Ministry of Works, Transport, and Communication for faithfully organizing this very important meeting every year. This forum provides an opportunity for the different players in the transport sector to take stock of the progress in the past year and to determine the pathway ahead, as well as to identify, most importantly, the constraints that the sector faces and the remaining challenges. The importance of this meeting cannot be overemphasized. And of course, it can be attested by the presence of the Honorable Minister himself right here today. Honorable Minister, our deliberations here every year do not go in vain. A number of developments in the sector took place following the resolutions reached at this forum from last year's deliberations. Some of the developments include implementation of the ongoing standard gauge railway project, the completion of the iconic Kwame Bridge, the improvements in cargo management at the port of Dar es Salaam, and many others. Overall, during the past year, significant scaling up of public investments, as well as process efficiency improvements, have also been recorded in the transport sector. As development partners, we wish to assure your government of our continued support to the sector. Indeed, thank you very much. Indeed, Tanzania is an exception in view of the focus on infrastructural development. It is one of the few African countries with the largest share of its budget allocated to infrastructure. For us, as the lead development partner in this sector, the African Development Bank has allocated 60% of its investments in the transport and work sector. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while we recognize the successes that your ministry has made, we are also cognizant of the few challenges which we must deal with to improve the sector's overall performance. To this end, Honorable Minister, as development partners, we have identified 5 key issues that we want to bring to the attention of this forum so that you can consider them and come up with recommendations by the end of this very important meeting. The first is that the private sector's involvement in the sector is still dismal. Given the expansive geographical size of Tanzania, public investments will definitely not be sufficient to fill the infrastructure financing gap. We need collectively to accelerate our efforts to incentivize private sector to take up more investments in the transport and work sector. Consequently, Honorable Minister, this forum needs to discuss what must be done to encourage increased private sector investments in the sector. Second, emergency response and disaster preparedness still seem to be lagging behind. It is therefore important to discuss, within the context of the recent unfortunate Precision Air incident, what plans are being made to improve civil aviation safety within the country. Third, Honorable Minister, delayed refunds of VAT for contractors is still challenging, and consequently, this results in missed timelines and leads to liquidity challenges for the contractors, as well as delays in project execution. So I hope in this forum we have colleagues from TRA and the Ministry of Finance to collectively deliberate on how to address the issue of the delays in VAT refunds, especially for the contractors operating in the sector. Fourthly, Honorable Minister, the delays in granting tax exemptions and clearance of containers at the port remains challenging. For us as development partners, donor-funded projects are supposed to be import duty-free. This process is still not clear, particularly for loan agreements entered into before 2015. As a result of this, there have been clearance delays of our containers at the port, accumulation of demurrage costs, resulting in fresh claims from our contractors, as well as accumulation of charges on the undisbursed amounts of our financing. Of course, this results in the project completion scheduled being extended. For me at the AFDB, a lot of requests for extension of project closing dates, and these requests are by and large as a result of the challenges with the refunds and granting of tax exemptions by the relevant institutions. This is unfortunate because it is the same government. We, as development partners, are issuing loans to your government. But then because of the process inefficiencies at TRA and TPA, this has resulted in cost overruns as a result of some of the additional demurrage costs and the claims made by contractors resulting from the clearance procedures at TPA. Finally, Honorable Minister, reviewing and processing of IPCs need to be given utmost importance as suppliers experience liquidity challenges due to the delayed payments. Let me now conclude, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that I hope that today's deliberations will concretely come up with solutions to some, if not all, of these challenges that I have just outlined. For us as development partners, we are delighted by the number of papers and presentations that will be presented at the forum today. And we hope that these papers will give us new insights on how we can improve the overall performance of the sector. I wish you fruitful deliberations and asanteni sana to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Patricia, for the words which are expressing the development partners' concerns, and I'm sure the meeting I believe that's the purpose of such meeting. We'll now listen to the Executive Secretary of the Central Corridor Transit Facilitation Agency, who will also give us some words from him. Please, karibu. Advocate Okanjo.
Asante. Honorable Professor Makame Mbarawa Mnya, Minister of Transport and the Works, United of Republic of Tanzania, Madam Representative of African Development Bank, ADB, Mr. Gabriel Migire, the Permanent Secretary of Transport Ministry, the representative of PS of Works, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Central Corridor Transport Facilitation Agency, we would like to appreciate sincerely the government of United Republic of Tanzania, the Honorable Minister Makame and his team for the well-done job in the transport sector along the Central Corridor region. Honorable Professor, let me comment what you are doing on the ground, because what you succeed contribute day to day to perform
our corridor. And of course, we know that there are some challenges here and there, but we believe on what you are doing. We believe in your vision to transform this corridor and to make it smoothly for common interest of our region. But also we believe that the professional team under your guidance, Mr. Professor, Honorable Professor, will continue to implement your guidance, your recommendations for making our corridor every day more competitive and sustainable. So for us, Mr. Professor Mbarawa, we would like also appreciate the well-done job of donors, the development partners. And for us as Central Corridor Secretariat, this is the good opportunity to congratulate them for their support. They contribute, they continue to support the transport sector, but also for us, this is the good moment to advocate to them to increase their support. Don't to stop. Please, development partners, we need your support. Without your support, we cannot move fast. So please continue to support, but also increase your support. We need it. And finally, Honorable Professor, we'd like also to commend the organizer of this event. As I can see here, I say that it is very good prepared and very well organized. Mr. Professor, let me congratulate them, and I wish the fruitful deliberations during this meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the words from you, Advocate Okanje. And we will now have the opportunity to listen to Honorable Minister Makame Nyambarawa. Professor Makame, please. Karibu sana. Take the floor.
Mr. Gabriel Migire, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport Sector, Dr. Patricia, Country Director, African Development Bank, members of diplomatic corps, representatives of development partners, representatives of private sectors, NGO and civil societies, distinguished participants, facilitators, guests, ladies and gentlemen. I feel great honored to get this opportunity to grace the opening of this important meeting, and therefore wish to extend a very warm welcome for all to you to this important annual transport sector review meeting. I am informed that this is the 15th annual joint transport sector review meeting organized by Ministry of Works and Transport in collaboration with the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government. I am also informed that this forum brings together the government, development partners, civil societies, NGO, financial institutions, academia, private sector, as well as representatives from regional organizations. The meeting organized so as to evaluate transport sector management, development, operational issues with a view of identifying challenges and agree on the way to mitigate them. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, your presence here today is a clear demonstration of the importance you accord to the development of the transport sector in Tanzania. I thank you so much for your support. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government of the United Republic of Tanzania, and indeed on my behalf, I would like to express my heartfelt condolences to the families and general public for tragic plane accident that occurred on 6 November this year in Bukoba and claimed the life of 19 people who were on board. My condolence message also goes to the families of those who lost their lives in the other transport sector accident. Let's stand and observe a moment of silence in remembrance of the soul of those who lost their lives. May soul rest in peace. Amen. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, in Tanzania, as most you know, apart from transport sector, which is responsible for policy guidance and management of the sector, we have the work sector, which is responsible for development of national roads and President Office Regional Administration Local Government, which is responsible for development of district road network, including collector, feeder, and community roads. Ladies and gentlemen, joint transport sector review meetings have been playing an important role of enabling all key stakeholders in transport to meet annual basis and assess the performance of the sector. This is done through the reviewing policy and legal related matters, improvement of the infrastructure and operations, technological advances, as well as capacity building and skill development. This forum, which we are banked on to discuss and resolve sector-related challenges. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, when I was entering the meeting, I was welcomed by exhibition of the transport stakeholders. I'm pleased by the wide range of activities shown and messages delivered to the general public. The arrangement makes this meeting colorful. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm informed that from this meeting, an aid memo will be prepared with the record of all key issues deliberated and agree for the implementation in the financial year 2022-23. I urge all stakeholder institutions to ensure that all the key issues drawn from this meeting are effectively implemented and reported in the next sector review meeting. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Tanzania has a network of roads, railway, maritime, aviation, and pipeline. The whole network, except the pipeline, is under the Ministry of Works and Transport and the President Office Regional Administration and Local Government. Road subsector has a network of 36,362 kilometers of national roads and 144,428 kilometers of district roads, while railway has a track network of 3,676 kilometers long with two separate networks run by TRC and Tazara. Maritime has a network of ports along Indian Ocean, inland waterways of Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika, and Lake Nyasa, and aviation has 59 airports. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Tanzania being a gateway to 6 land-linked countries of Malawi, Zambia, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, and Democratic Republic of Congo, is strategically situated to handle transit goods for these neighboring countries. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government has maintained 9 major road transport corridors. The transport corridors are Tazam Highway Corridor, which has 1,324 kilometers, Northeast Corridor, which has 955 kilometers, Southern Coastal Corridor, which has 508 kilometers, Central Corridor, which has 1,584 kilometers, Lake Circuit Corridor, which has 1,019 kilometers, Southern Corridor, which has 1,024 kilometers, Western Corridors, which has 1,286 kilometers, Central Corridor, which has 1,201 kilometers, and the Great North Corridor, which has 1,067 kilometers. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for quite a long time now, the road transport has been the dominant mode of transport, accounting over 80% of passengers traffic and 95% of the freight traffic, resulting of premature deterioration of the road infrastructure. In order to safeguard the road network, the government has continued to monitor load weight through the weight in motion weigh bridges and CCTV cameras management system along all road corridors. I urge all the road users to observe the permissible excess load permits so as to ensure that the road infrastructure live long. Ladies and gentlemen, the government embarked in improving railway transport in Tanzania through rehabilitation of meter gauge railway line from Dar es Salaam to Isaka, which has got 970 kilometers, and construction of a new standard railway line from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza, which has got a total of 1,219 kilometers. The construction of SGR is in a good progress. As of September 2022, the construction of Dar es Salaam to Morogoro, which has 300 kilometer section, was 97.49%, while Morogoro Makutopora, which has a total of 422 kilometer section, was 90.07%. Mwanza Isaka, which has a total of 341 kilometer, was 14.12%. Makutopora Tabora, which has 369 kilometers, was 1.92%, and Tabora Isaka section, the contractor was mobilizing. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has strategically revamped the Air Tanzania company to meet regional and international demand. Considering Tanzania has several tourism centers and the effort to put by the government through Royal Tour, revamping national career need to not be overemphasized. The government, as of September 2022, has procured 11 new aircraft that in operation. The government have also signed a contract to procure 5 additional new aircraft, including 1 freighter. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is improving Dar es Salaam port. The improvement including reconstruction of berth 1 to 7, which is now operational, deepening and widening of entrance channel and turning basin, which is 50% so far, deepening and strengthening berths 8 to 11, whereby the consultant is doing a feasibility study and engineering design. After the improvement, Dar es Salaam Port can able to receive post-max vessels. This is a big vessels. Furthermore, annual cargo capacity will be 28 million tons from previous capacity of 15 million tons. During the year under review, Dar es Salaam Port has been able to achieve cargo throughput of 20 million tons. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has made several improvements of transport services along the lake, along Great Lake in order to serve the neighboring countries. These including rehabilitating 2 vessels, namely Umoja, which is now around 50%, MT Sangara, which is done by 72.67%, and construction of MV Mwanza, which is done by so far 72%. We have also started procurement of contractor for building 2 new vessels for Lake Tanganyika. My plea to the implementation agencies is to ensure that the projects are implemented at required standard and as per given time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, regarding railway performance, we observe a slight improvement as most of freight from Dar es Salaam Port. However, most of the domestic freight and transit is still moved by trucks. I would like to see TRC and Tazara improve their capacity and marketing strategies so as to increase their market share. I call upon the Ministry, especially transport sector, to ensure that the Railway Act and Tazara Act are reviewed to allow private sector to be involved. We want to see private sector to own their own rolling stocks and operate them along TRC and Tazara. We know that without private sector, we are not going to achieve our objectives. So we need Tazara here to allow private sector. We need TRC also to allow private sector. And we're going to do that by we're doing some modification in our 2 acts, Tazara Act, TRC Act, and Tazara Act. Ladies and gentlemen, may I take this opportunity to commend the government institution and responsible contractors of roads, airport, ports, railway, including SGR, for the achievement that have been realized so far. I urge all key players of the project implementation, including consultants and contractors, to continue to work so that the projects are completed as per given quality and timelines. May I also call upon development partners in transport sector to join hands with the government, particularly on financing the development projects, including roads, airport, lake vessels, and railways. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me now take this opportunity to highlight government strategy policy to involve private sector implementation of key sector projects in transport. We are all aware that the government is willing to involve private sector on development of projects that have been tested and realized to be implemented by private sector or through private partnership with the government, or through engineering, procurement, and construction. This means EPC plus finance. We have got a number of projects going on now. We've got a project from Dar es Salaam, Chalinze, up to Morogoro, which has got 215 kilometers. We are on the process now to get a private sector whereby we're going to put a toll gate, our toll fee, that people, they've started to pay. We know without involving the private sector, we can't build the big road in this country. This country is big, as Dr. Patricia said. We need private sector. We can't do anything by our own, so we are expecting that this road, which is from Dar es Salaam, Chalinze to Morogoro, will be a good starting point. And good luck that I always see that a lot of investors, they are very interested in this road. So the progress is going on, especially in the road sector. We are sure we're going to break through this road from Dar es Salaam, Chalinze, up to Morogoro. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'm informed that during this meeting, the identified project for PPP arrangement and EPC plus finance will be shared, including SGR section, for which the government is still soliciting funds. So I'm sure the people, they're going to do some presentation here. I urge private sector to venture into those opportunities and participate in the tender processes. Please, government believes that the private sector, under the umbrella of Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, and in collaboration with the private sector from outside the country, is capable enough to effectively participate in undertaking the development project in our country. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I would wish to wind up my speech by thanking all of you for availing your precious time to come and attend 15 Joint Transport Sector Review. But before I conclude my remarks, Dr. Patricia, Country Director, mentioned 5 points here, which is 5 points which are challenging. The first one is a private sector, involvement in private sector in the projects. I think this one we're going to talk here. And as I mentioned, we've started a special in road transport and railway transport. I'm sure the private sector people here, they are going to do the presentation, and also the government agencies, they are going to do the presentation for that. And then we're going to take different recommendations which we're going to get from this floor. Secondly, the second one, I'm going to talk the last one, because, or maybe there's no need to talk about that, because there's investigation is going on. So after getting the investigation concerning the Precision Air crash in Lake Victoria, then we can talk with the people here, because if I'm going to talk, it's not right time now. Let's waiting for the report will come, and then we can share with you. That is what my comment here. The third one concerning delay of VAT fund. This is not acceptable. Let's be honest. I don't know about this because I'm not involved in VAT refunding. But this is not acceptable. I hope people from Ministry of Finance are here. And I'm sure they will have a flow to explain about this one. The fourth one, delay of, VAT, I think container based on VAT, TPA and TRI. This is not good. Sometimes to get VAT exemption, it takes 3 months. It's so bad. Let's be honest. We were together in Kigoma. There was a government-funded project to get VAT exemption. It took 6 months. That is nonsense. It's not acceptable. When I went to TANROADS, immediately I just kicked somebody from that office. Because how are you going to take 6 months for VAT exemption? If you have got a problem, you can't get it. Go to your boss, CEO of TANROADS is there. If the thing is not working, go to the permanent secretary, is there. If the things are not working, go to the minister. But the guy, he never come to me. And when I went to the site, the guy said, oh, minister, it takes 6 months. I said, no, you are not fit to be the officer in charge of VAT exemption. You need to go to find another job. So this is not good. And now they've got some system which can speed up very easy, but people, they are not serious. So I hope the ministry himself, because I don't like this one, I don't like to blame Ministry of Finance alone. We also, the ministry, we've got a problem. We've got a problem. We need to take full responsibility of this one. So I'm lucky here, he's up, our permanent secretary here in charge for transport sector. We have got Engineer Ngoe, who is in charge of road transport. This is our fault. We are there for this job. We are not there to come here to talk in the meeting. We need to solve these problems. So, no, this is not acceptable, in short. And the same problem, review of IPC, is not right. Sometimes IPC from Kigoma up to Town Road, to the desk office of Town Road, it can take 2 months. Then from Town Road desk officer is going to ministry, it takes 3 weeks. Then from the ministry, it's going to Ministry of Finance, can take 3 weeks. The minister is there, the permanent secretary is there, the director is there, CE of Town Road is there. It's not right. It's not right. We are talking this every day. It's very frustrating. And then some people, they just think that blame. If you have no money, another story. But donor, they've got money. The money there, just put this in the system and do it. It's not your money. So I hope they are going to discuss it. But here, this is a big problem. And we're going to take serious action in our ministry. If somebody is not going to take responsibility, if somebody is going to take or keep the IPC for 1 month, he is not fit to be that office. And last week, I think I talked this seriously in my ministry. This thing is not acceptable. Permanent secretary, you are there. You are there. What you are doing? You are paid for this thing, man. Anyway, we don't like to talk a lot of these things. But the message is very clear. We need to change the way how we are doing our business. It's not right. Kabla sijaongea, hawa wengine wananisikiliza mimi, lazima nabidi niseme kidogo. Sababu hapa ni tuko Tanzania na hawa ni wa Tanzania. Tumekutana hapa leo kupitia sekta ya usafirishaji kwa kipindi cha mwaka mmoja. Kila mwaka mmoja tunakutana, tunapitia, tumefanya nini, changamoto ni zipi, kwa upande wetu wa serikalini, kwa upande wa donors, wanaotupatia mikopo, kwa upande wa private sector. Tunakutana, tunachambua. Kwa vile leo tunakutana hapa, tutachambua kama mlivyosikia. Mkurugenzi wa ADB amezungumza mambo matano hapa yapo. Kuna changamoto ya kwanza, VAT exemption inachelewa. Ya pili, IPC. Natoka IPC manake unatoa certificate kwa mkandarasi, unapeleka TANROADS, inakuja mpaka Wizara ya Fedha, inachukua muda mrefu. Ni jambo ambalo halikubaliki. Sasa hapa watalizungumza wote, naambiwa kuna wataalamu wa Wizara ya Fedha, kuna wataalamu wa TANROADS watalizungumza, lakini haya mambo hayakubaliki. Sasa mkutano huu madhumuni yake makubwa ni kuzipata changamoto kama hizi, tunajipanga upya, tuone tunafanyaje ili uko mbele zisitokee tena. Okay, so nafikiri nimetosha hiyo, si ndio bwana? Au mnataka zaidi? Zaidi? Zaidi kwa kweli kama nilivyosema tuna hiyo, na jambo kubwa ambalo tutalizungumza hapa, mnajua nchi yetu ni kubwa. Wakati umefika sasa sekta binafsi nayo ishiriki kwenye ujenzi wa miundombinu. Hasa miundombinu ya barabara, hasa miundombinu ya reli na maeneo mengine. Na Mheshimiwa Rais amekuwa akitembea maeneo mengi duniani kuitangaza nchi hii. Lengo lake kubwa ni kuikaribisha sekta binafsi ishiriki kwenye miundombinu katika nchi yetu. Na bahati nzuri sana kwenye wizara yetu ya ujenzi na uchukuzi tumetangaza barabara ambayo tutaijenga sasa kwa kushirikiana na private sector kutoka Dar es Salaam Chalinze mpaka Morogoro yenye urefu wa kilomita 215. Barabara hii sasa itakuwa ni ya kulipa. Najua yale maneno kulipa mtapeleka sana leo, lakini nataka muunderline mfahamu. Itakuwa na kulipa, lakini wale ambao hawawezi kulipa watapitia barabara ya kawaida. Barabara ya kawaida ile Dar es Salaam mpaka Morogoro itakuwepo, lakini itajengwa barabara mpya ambayo tunaita expressway au motorway. Tanzania hakuna expressway hata moja toka tumepata uhuru. Sasa tunaenda kujenga barabara mpya itakayotoka Kibaha inaingia Chalinze mpaka Morogoro. Yule anataka kulipa atalipa, atapita. Yule ambaye anataka kwenda mwendo wa kidogo mdogo atapita barabara ya kawaida ambaye hataki kulipa. Hii ndio maendeleo. Sababu kutoka pengine Kibaha mpaka Morogoro kilomita 210, hiyo barabara utakuwa na kwenda kilomita 120 kwa saa. Na huwezi kuingia tu barabarani. Kuna maeneo maalum ambayo inaitwa interchange ndio unaingia. Kwa vile hiyo kazi tumeianza na tunaamini itapofika mwezi wa, nafikiri nilipata taarifa mwezi wa 4 mwezi wa 5 mwakani tunaweza tukampata mkandarasi. Mkandarasi atajenga kwa pesa yake mwenyewe, halafu atakuwa anakusanya kodi kila gari ikipita. Gari ndogo itakuwa na bei yake tofauti na gari kubwa bei yake tofauti. Duniani kote kuna barabara namna hizo. Kenya pale ipo, inakwenda airport expressway ipo. Uganda inatoka Entebbe airport inakwenda mpaka Kampala ipo. Hiyo barabara itakuwa na njia 4, njia 2 zinakwenda, njia 2 zinarudi. Na itapunguza hata ajali kwa sababu itakuwa hamwendi barabara moja kama mnavyokwenda sasa. Wanaokwenda kula wanaenda upande wao, wanarudi wanakuja upande mwingine. Hayo ndio maendeleo. Kwa vile hilo tunataka tulianze. Na utaratibu unaendelea. Halafu tunaanza na miradi mingine ambayo tunasema. Tunatumia utaratibu mpya ambao tunaita EPC plus finance. Mtu anakuja pesa yake, anajenga, halafu serikali tunamlipa. Vile vile nimelizungumza hapa, tunataka tubadilishe sasa sheria, tufanye mabadiliko kidogo kwenye sheria ya TAZARA na sheria ya TRC. Turuhusu watu wenye mabehewa yao waweze na wao kuendesha mabehewa yao. Wewe kama tajiri una mabehewa yako 50 utapata hiyo fursa ya kufanya kazi. TAZARA wameanza kufanya hili jambo. Kwa vile na TRC tunataka tufanye. Tukifanya hivyo tunaisaidia sana poti ya Dar es Salaam. Poti ya Dar es Salaam itafanya kazi kwa ufanisi zaidi. Maendeleo hayafanywi tu na serikali peke yake. Maendeleo yanafanywa kwa serikali kwa kushirikiana na private sector binafsi. Ndugu zangu, nafikiri imetosha. Nimeeleza yote. Imetosha. It means enough. Yeah. Okay, so distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, now I have the honor to declare that 15th Joint Transport Sector Review Meeting official open. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki sana. Asanteni. Asante Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, for your speech, and thank you for and telling the people here how you intend to ensure that those 5 key issues which have been brought up by the ADB representative will be addressed by the government. And for us to proceed now, I would suggest, I don't know how much logistics issues will be a problem, but for remembrance and for having, we would rather have some photos with our chief guests, and it will not be for everybody. Unfortunately, the space is that limited, but I would invite first of all the development partners and the members, representative of the diplomatic corps, please, to come here in front, stand behind the high table, we have a photo here, which will be a remembrance of this occasion. And then we will follow, the other people who will be following is the ministries, departments and agencies, authorities will also follow. And after those two group photos, we will continue with our program. I know the sitting way of this conference brings some challenges on how to get your things sorted out and kept properly before you move. But let's just make it. Let's try and get things going. Thank you. Here. You'll be right here. They'll come and stay here. Please, can you? Yes, come this way. Come this way. Move this side, please. Wamekaa sawa, sio? Wapiga picha. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can get back to our seats. People from the ministries which are involved with the transport to come here, and heads of institutions, agencies, authorities under the Ministry of Transport, of Works and Transport. Please, can we move fast enough?
Please move fast. Mzee, umeitwa wamesema road fund na kila mtu. Na wewe ni mmoja wao.
Nipige picha kumbukumbu. The group coming, so please thank you for the photos. You can take seats, and the last group, please come over and join in the photograph with the chief guest.
Ili kuwa mwanafamilia bora wa Global TV, usisahau kusubscribe, like, kushare na kucomment. Baada ya kusubscribe, bonyeza alama ya kengele ili kupata taarifa kwa kila